Good evening and welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Steve Shear sitting in for Jeffrey Davis, and we have one of our renowned guests, our weekly guest, Mark Furman from Tarlow Breed Hart and Rogers. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Steve. Great to be with you. Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well this new year, and I hope you have some interesting stories, as you always do.
Well, I hope so. Today I want to talk about another independent contractor employee classification case. As we've talked about before, there are many of these cases out there. Many of them are brought at class actions. Many of them get decided by summary judgment. And Massachusetts has a law which is really more strict than any other state in the country, as well as more strict than the federal law for who's a employee versus and who can be an independent contractor. So under Massachusetts' three-part test, to be an independent contractor, you must be free from control, which is a traditional test that the federal government and other states apply. You've got to do work in an independently established trade, occupation, or business. Again, that's consistent with federal and state law throughout the country. But where Massachusetts is the outlier is it has a clause that says the service must be performed outside the usual course of business of the employer. So if I'm an accountant and it's tax season and I need help because I'm up to my eyeballs and alligators with the deadline approaching, and there's a solo practitioner accountant who doesn't have enough of his own work or her own work, but has their own office, staff, and rent, overhead, an independent practice. If I hire that person, they're probably my employee because the usual course of their business is providing accounting services, and the usual course of my business under our example is providing accounting services. Right. So that person must be treated as an employee under Massachusetts law, and that's where Massachusetts is different. And as I've talked about before, there's not enough publicity out there in the business community of how this law works, and it's a trap for the unwary. And so you have multiple class actions have been filed, industry by industry, and many of them have been decided by summary judgment based upon the last that whether the person is engaged in a business that's outside the usual course of the business. It's called prong 2 under the test, even though I mentioned it last. So here we have a case, and they're relatively rare, where a motion for summary judgment, that is